Hello, good morning and happy, what is it today? Today is Tuesday. Tuesday, yes. I know what days of the week it is. I know how time works. I mean, maybe. All right. So hopefully, how's your days all been? I am, I'm looking forward to working on this Bootstrap thing. So I haven't uploaded these files to YouTube yet. That'll probably be sometime today. The main reason is I do have to wait for an extra day after we record them to get them uploaded. So that's I should be able to do this after work sometime, or maybe before work if we end early today. So this one, adding Bootstrap to a project. So obviously adding Bootstrap is pretty nice because then you get advantage of all the fun things that you get from a CSS framework. And of course, Bootstrap is like the name recognition one. There's other ones that are like really popular too, and I think we have one for Tailwind as well. It's just subtly different, and I think might confuse people with its suggestions of like using the CLI and other things. But we're gonna move forward with this. All right, so create our checklist for the video. So basically, we have. Let's see what we need here. All right, so for our video, I'm thinking we want, I guess like an introduction type thing. Wait, you can't see my screen. What's going on? Why can't you see my screen? Hold on, let's try this again. There we go. All right, that's a little bit better. Okay, so why, probably like, why is Bootstrap? Like, do I really need to introduce what Bootstrap is? I can introduce the topic maybe. So why, I suppose like a really brief, why bring in a CSS framework? It is possible that there are some people, many people would rather forget about Bootstrap. Good morning, Padada. Good morning, afternoon. Yes. Yeah. I mean, personally, I do like Bootstrap, but that might just be fond memories of using Bootstrap back when the choice was like not great, and it like really saved you from a lot of poor alternatives. These days there are a lot of alternatives out there. Tailwind is something that I really like. It helped, but you don't really like the looks of it. I think like that's one thing that Bootstrap. I think people who are using Bootstrap kind of forgot or didn't realize that you have all those like theming. Semantic UI had good looks. You know, that's the other thing is that with Bootstrap, people like that. One of the big things about Bootstrap was that it actually forced people and told them like, no, you have to use the arias. You have to use like good HTML practices for like screen readers and other things. And I think like until like Bootstrap really like forced people to like, okay, I'll just do that by habit. And I think that helped a lot. And that was good. Bootstrap is like jQuery. I mean, I might be able to be convinced about that. Although, one like really good argument for like how awesome jQuery was is that everything that made jQuery great has been integrated into JavaScript natively. So there's no reason to use it anymore. With Bootstrap, I feel, well, let's see. What was it that made Bootstrap amazing and great? It was things like aligning things up with grid system, right? CSS now has a grid system to help out with that. It was doing vertical and horizontal alignment. Well, we have Flexbox and Flex for that too. So yeah, I guess we can make the argument that with Bootstrap, specifically for the grid stuff, yeah, it absolutely worked that way. And then we can also argue that with components, it's not there yet. We're working on it, but web components was invented potentially to sort of like help out, replace that. But there's still a decent way to go before web components is really like gonna replace it. I'm looking forward to that day though. I am looking forward to the day where like web components is actually a thing that we use. Right now it's sort of like more components specific to whatever framework we choose. But yeah, so I can see the argument that maybe something like Tailwind is the next step for Bootstrap, because it's basically more of a choose your own adventure as opposed to here's the way we're going to do it. But any framework is really going to have a lot of opinions. Even if they say they're unopinionated, they're still opinionated. They just may not shove it down your throat quite as much. All right, so why use a CSS framework like Bootstrap? Okay, so why use a CSS framework like Bootstrap? There's the two different components of Bootstrap, which is the JavaScript components, but you don't ever have to call the JavaScript yourself. It's more of you just have to pull them in to the HTML, and I don't think we need to do anything for that. So I guess like, okay, so why use a CSS framework like Bootstrap? I guess like adding Bootstrap to the project. And then there are the two different things. So like the positioning stuff. And really at that point in time, it's now just the, hey, how to use it with components, which is not really that big of an issue. If you break out your components properly and you have essentially like the template type components, and then you have like the doing components, then that breaks it out. Like the page components is what's going to use like the grid elements from Bootstrap for. And then the individual components, like if you're creating a special button component that's going to wrap essentially a real button, then that also uses the CSS from Bootstrap. So let's see. Adding Bootstrap to the project, we'll probably want like the two components then. So a page component for some kind of layout. So laying out a page with using, I guess I could be using Bootstrap grid, and then using a Bootstrap component. We could build a form. I think that's what like a lot of people complain about is like, how do I build the form? How do I make it look good? They're also like always feel really complicated. What are other things that we can build? Let's actually take a look at Bootstrap. So we have obviously layout for grid type things. That's where like a form might come in handy because we can have an admin dashboard. Yeah, but so I know you're joking. Like admin dashboards are really cool, and I do enjoy building them. But the problem that I think a lot of people run into admin dashboards, they try to build one without having like a problem to be solved yet. And you really need all the data and everything else in place to build the admin dashboard. Otherwise, it just looks terrible because it's not actually like you're forcing a solution where there isn't a problem. You don't have a use case. Exactly. All right, so I think we can do a user, we'll do like the to-do thing. So like creating a new to-do item. Something like that. Like we want a task, we want a description, completed, like, is it completed or not? Something like that. All right. Then for content, okay, so then there's like the forms. So then form control, and then really like components are just super easy versions of like form control stuff. Like basically they're all easy. It's like here's a select. It's just HTML. Forms submit positive feedback for your tutorial. If it's not positive, it just gets sent to dev null. We'll create like an AI to detect the what is it called? The emotional index of the text. I forget the word for that. If it's not positive, it will turn an F off. I think that is, if it's not positive, it sends you back to the first lesson and says, well, it looks like you may have had a little bit of trouble with this course. Let's try that again. All right. Let's practice this with this first, because I think this might be a bit. No, just tell them get good. Using Bootstrap grid, using Bootstrap component. Okay, so using Bootstrap grid to create. What does we want to do? We want to create a. I guess like using grid, we're gonna do them before. So using Bootstrap to create a new task form. All right, so these will be sort of like the steps. Although these two are pretty like much longer. I guess like this one is the really long one. I might want to break that down even further, but we'll see. I don't need to implement any interaction. Perhaps just noting, hey, these are normal form elements. You can put the callbacks on them, and it's just gonna work just fine. Don't worry about it. All right, so we have this. I think one thing before recording the video that would be helpful would be practice run. So I guess we'll just practice run. I don't need to do necessarily the talking part of the practice run. I want to do the coding part of the practice run. Because I think this one's going to be a little bit more complicated. So that one makes a little bit more sense to me. So under front end Rust U lessons, I want to create a new folder, and this is going to be, actually, I think we're going to do, I'll do a cargo new. So this is what? Front end Rust U lessons. Cargo new. What am I going to call this? probably using Bootstrap. Oh, handling static files. I thought I saved that. Okay. So got you, and then this is gonna be integrating Bootstrap, using Bootstrap, maybe Bootstrap CSS, maybe. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could swear this used to work, but what? I want to, we can format the document. You don't know how to format the table, do you? Maybe this one? Oh, there it goes. Okay. Oh, wait, was that the problem? No, that wasn't the problem. Okay, but never mind. I got that working at least. So there we go. So Bootstrap CSS is what we're going to call this. So we're going to do cargo new Bootstrap CSS. Can I do cargo add now? So cargo add you. I think that's it because we're not going to use stylist. Oh, okay. I thought maybe I've read that it's coming. Cargo add is coming to native, like just normal cargo because it got integrated in, but it might still be another version away or so. So I want to get a hello world and we're going to integrate it from there. So we'll have introduction to u.rs. Wait, that can't be the name. Introduction to urs. There, that's better. I should probably do a little bit like of a smarter system for this, because we're going to be using multiple files. So we'll have a lib.rs that will hold maybe like our first page, and then any components that come in with that too we'll need. So here we'll have a so that's, I guess, like we'll start with the hello world. So we'll start with that. So use Am I gonna have to open this up and it's in a separate VS Code? I might need to. Rust Analyzer is probably a little bit upset that there's so many projects inside of here, and it's not like a traditional Rust workspace. Okay, so this is a is it functional or function component, I think? All right, so if I do that, then back to main, let's pull you in. Do you. Oh, yep. Failed to discover Rust workspace. That's what's going on here. Okay, so what I need to do, so we have this for everything here. I need to cd into front end Rust U lessons Bootstrap CSS. Open up code here. And do this one. This should make it a little bit happier. Oh, also, this would be helpful if I gave it the version number. Oh, I wonder if was that the that was not my problem, right? No, that was not my problem. Hold on. Let's don't save you. Close all of you up. There we go. Okay, so function component, we get you. Go to main. We'll have you start app, and then use that. Yep. Yeah, I constantly forget about the index to HTML. It's like you only need to do it once in a project, and then you can forget about it forevermore. All right, so that is up and running. All right, so there is our hello world. Let us let's then commit all of these things, and we're doing so set up hello world for Bootstrap. All right, so now I can revert back to this whenever I want. What are our steps here? So why use the CSS framework? That's just talking. I can do that. Add Bootstrap to the project. So adding Bootstrap to the project, we'll need getting started, download, and I'm thinking we'll use a CDN. We have to make sure that we're on the latest one. For some reason, I loaded it up and it dropped me onto version 3, which is not cool. So we'll use you. So copy you, and you're going to go into our index.html. And this script goes down here. And we should be able to now open you up and see in our debugger. Okay, so here's Bootstrap. You get all this fun stuff. I don't actually think we see the CSS through here, do we? We see that through, yep, and here's Bootstrap stuff. So here's all of these come in. So nice, we've got, okay, so we've got that. Next up, adding Bootstrap to create a new task form. So like kind of just doing the thing, right? So we want to be able to create maybe like a title for the form page. Let's see. So we want our layouts. So we probably want to do something like this where we have like container rows and columns. So at this point, coming back to here, let's see. Phonetic. Hello, good morning. You've been contemplating switching from JavaScript frameworks, never something you'd thought you'd ever say. But when you say from JavaScript frameworks, are you switching to something else? Or are you talking about just going to native, just code it all yourself, native JavaScript? All right, so we have our main here. We're gonna have our div class containers and all that stuff. So we can do class equals container. Inside of that, we have a row and a column. So this is gonna be like our top one. So this can be a div. Class equals row. Div class equals column. And then we'll have our h1. And we'll throw into here. What are we thinking? So like create new task, something like that. So looking at that. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'll put you behind me. You can go on the right. See how this ends up working. This might end up being too large. All right, so I then want to center this. Can I actually just do something like class equals center? I don't. It's like center text or something like that. It's been so long since I've used Bootstrap. Or is it like text center? There it is. Okay, text center. Then we're gonna want another row and column, and to put what is it down there? We want I guess the task title. So this is another row. Now, I would want to break this out into different components based upon. Well, okay, I wonder. let's do this sort of like as it is right now. But I'm thinking about breaking this out into components based upon the input. So this would be like a form input component that we would create. Let's actually see how bad it is sort of like built into here first. So class equals, I guess like we'd still have the class row. And I want this to be like a single column. So div class equals column. Oh, you went to Galvanize back in the day, so you've been writing JavaScript. Just lately been a lot more interested in Rust, both for web dev and for running things you tinker with on Raspberry Pis. Yeah, I did a little tiny bit on Raspberry Pis, but not too much. It works just fine. Longer compile times if you compile on them directly, but they're pretty awesome. And you were back in Galvanize. What cohort were you in? I wonder if it was the era that I was there. Or maybe it was, maybe it was before, maybe it was after. All right, so we have row column. So then we're gonna have, okay, so now we do our form stuff, right? Oh, and then the form would probably come out here. So we do like a form. Like that. We need to look up how to do forms. So overview. Yeah, we just have like a normal form like that. And then we do our rows and columns. Actually, we don't need to do rows and columns. This will take up maximum width, so we'd be fine for that. And then, okay, so then it's like this label. Okay, so if I do form control, give textual form controls like inputs and text areas and upgrade. Okay, so you have to put like a form control on the input itself. Okay, so I want input group. Oh, right. Okay, so input group so that you can have your place one add-on or button on either side of an input. Okay, never mind. That I don't want that. Oh, G10. G10. I started with G11. G11 I think was my first cohort that I was with. So that was in Boulder. So I was like right after you. So let's see. Let's layout validation. Okay, so section review, select, range, input, group. So I don't need any of those things. I guess I just want normal inputs. So like, for example, we have this email address here, something like that. We have this form, div class, MB3. Okay, so we have a label, we have the input, and then we have some extra div. So if I copy you, so let's say I don't do this, we just go straight here. All right, so we have our div class MB3, for example. We have our label. This is the ID. This is necessary to link the label back and forth. Otherwise, you have to put the input inside of the label. But okay, so we'll say like this is maybe like task name. Class form label. This will be wait, no, stop. Wait, how did I open up? No, you go over here. I guess this is gonna be a little bit hard to have it zoomed in and read it because like there's web stuff, especially with HTML, is so zoomed in. We went to Platt Street. Honestly, best money you ever spent. Those were the golden days. I really enjoyed that time there. All right, so in here, we're now going to put in what this is. This is going to be like the task name. We close the label up. Okay, so input type is going to be not email. This is just text. Class is farm control, ID, task name, I describe by. So this is going to be, I can never remember. Is this like a set things that I have to choose from, or can I choose? Oh, no, it's this one. This is an ID still. So this is task name help. Then class form text. I wonder if I want to like hide that too. So we then do all right, so last name help, describe by phonetic. Were you around when CJ was around too? Or no, it wasn't that. It was Kyle. Might have been Kyle. Because like both of them have been have presences on YouTube too now, so they'd be great to go and like look up and see how they're doing. Although Kyle spends most of his time on Denver devs. All right, so task help, form task, then awesome. Yeah, you should check out CJ's YouTube channel. He just went solo. What does ARIA mean in the context of HTML element attributes? You've encountered it while looking at MD book output. Oh yeah, let's take a look at that. Maybe this would be a good time for me to sort of like slot that in. So it's an accessibility thing. So basically it's let's see. I don't want to like just go from memory because I'm probably gonna get it wrong. But ARIA is a way for us to describe to the browser, to specifically browsers for disability usage, how to actually use it. So let's see. We include ARIA roles and properties to add meaning. In this example, the role progress bar attribute informs the browser that this element is actually a JavaScript powered progress bar. So they actually have different ways of like, okay, these are, well, you could add it in via JavaScript, yes. Or we can do it ourselves. Hogan Long, hello. So it's not just for screen readers, although a lot of people sort of like think in those terms, like, okay, this is This is for screen readers to sort of help out. Highly, highly recommended that you add all of these things into your HTML. Just get into the habit of doing it. Although it's like so easy to just forget if you're just hand rolling it. This is one of the reasons why I think that something like Bootstrap was so good, because they just put it in their examples and then people just copied and pasted without really thinking about it. And I'm all for just forcing good design in, make it so like being lazy still results in good stuff. I do have to admit, then of course I didn't put the ARIA stuff in, which is not great. Here you think you've been a good netizen by using alt tags properly. I know it's one of those things where like alt tags was like the big one for a long time. Maybe it shows our age. Now it's one of those like, oh, you know, gotta add in ARIA too. Now ARIA, like the big thing is that if somebody like hovers over it with a screen reader, it'll tell them like, this is exactly what it is. This is what it's for. It's like in this case, this for text here. What is the, what task are you going to complete? This text will now be described to somebody if they like do the equivalent of hovering over and selecting that element if they have the screen reader active. And there is a way, and I constantly forget how to do it, to turn that on. I had done it at one point in time, a long time ago. I forget now. How do I turn on the screen reader? I wonder if Firefox come with it, or if I just use the Max built-in one. But okay, so let's go back to you. So we've got you. If I hit save, we have an error, so need to take care of that first. What is your error? Why is that the wrong color? Quote, 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 quote. Oh, I need to close the tag. Oh, they don't have HTML5 closing. Okay. That's actually an interesting thing. Windows key plus Control Enter. Let's see what happens. So Windows key, Control. That is not. I'm on Apple device. Oh, that's a Windows device? Okay. I just assumed that you meant the command key. There's probably something that I can go and find exactly how to do it. Let me see if over here. Oh, I know where it is. I know where it is. It's in not language and region. It's in accessibility. Voiceover. Is it voiceover or is it? It's probably voiceover because that's under the vision. There's also descriptions. Display. Okay. If I turn you on. Okay, so like use it for right now. Oh, that's cool. Are you using a screen reader to operate VS Code? Word wrap is disabled when using a screen reader. No. This, however. Okay. Really, really cool because you can't hear it because the stream volume is going through the Windows computer, but you can now see what it would be reading to me here, which is, so as somebody comes in here, they tab over and they can see task name, edit text. They can text over, leaving this document. It's heading over to somewhere else. So that can be very, very helpful for somebody who is who doesn't have vision. So you can actually see, like, when I click into here, what task you're going to complete is actually like displayed right here. So something else that we can do, I think I want to say that Bootstrap has a way to hide something. Visually hidden. I want to visually hidden that. So come back to here. Did I save? I may have. No, I saved. Why didn't you do the thing? Did you fail? Your success. Okay. Hold on. Why didn't that work? Where's my thing? There's your thing. Save. Oh, not dot visually hidden. Ah. Thank you, Pronion. Thank you. So, anyways, back to here, I select. We still get that text here. So now this allows me to have an actual like description that's going to be read out to somebody who has to navigate this entire form field, not visually at all. So this should be obvious to somebody who is like, seeing this. It may or may not be obvious to somebody who's going through a screen reader. Now you're not listening to that. I could probably turn up my volume and actually hear it myself. There are, it's kind of funny. When we, like, if we were to turn off going through and like using our browsers visually, we would turn this on and we'd like very clearly and very slowly listen to what it's saying, know what to do, hit tab. It would take forever to navigate through a website. But I've worked with somebody who is visually impaired before in the past, and it is true. The sort of like the joke of, okay, are you on just sort of like listening to something normally, or are you on blind speed for listening to something? Because if you get used to it, this text will read out insanely fast. I can't actually hear it. Like, the words all blur into one thing and I just can't understand what it's saying. But you can get really fast with those. Okay, so if we do this is great. So now I want another one, right? So we have the task name, and now I want the task description. I turned up the volume and now I'm actually hearing it, but you can't hear it. So now it's just bothering me. So I'm going to turn that back down again. Okay. So, back to you. Let's see. I'm just going to close you too. All right. So next up, we have the task name. I want the description, so we can use a text edit, a text area as well. I bet it's going to be very similar to this. I want a text area. Why do you keep on sending me back up? Okay, example text area. Oh, it's because I'm selected on that and it's visually sending me out there. Okay. All right, so I want this example text area. Here this is. I'm gonna grab you. And we're gonna throw you right here. Okay, so the same class here. This task help, I kind of feel that if we're gonna go with it once, we should go with it always. Let's see, then label 4. So then this is gonna be for the task description. Class form label. Description, close the label, text area, class form control, ID, rows 3, that's fine. ID is, okay, so this can be, aria described by, so we're gonna add that in here. Described by, task, description help, and I'll put you there. Then description field for more information about the task. Can be as long as you want. Okay. So now we have this there, and we can see that sort of adds in. Great. Do I need any more of this? I feel like this might be a good sort of description of like what it's gonna feel like. We can add everything else. It would be something like the completed or not. I guess like we can do a checkbox. Checks and radio. So there's a checkbox. Oh, we do a select too. That'd be another select. But it is just really more of the same, and I don't know how much value there is for me doing this. I think though, what might have more value is saying like, okay, let's actually pull these out and put them into sort of wrapped containers that have this. So we have the layout in this page here. And we're not going to leave these here. We're going to now come and create a, what is this going to be? This is going to be a form. This is going to be a text field. Sort of like a text field. .rs. Is that displaying everything that I'm typing? It is. I will have to make sure I don't have that on if I'm doing any passwords or anything like that. That would be a little bit dangerous. Okay, so use prelude. Then I want to What do I want to do for this? We want to create a new function component. This is going to be a text field. We are going to take in properties for this. Things that we know that we need to pull in. We need the... This is going to be like what the task name is. So the name is going to be a string. That is not optional. We absolutely have to have that. For input, so the type text field, so I'm going to just hard code that in as text. Then we'll have the ID that's going to be, I'll be able to like just do the ID part of this. Okay, the description. So we can have a description. So pub description is a string. And then that's going to sort of like add these out here. Okay. It's like properties or property. Partial equal. And clone, I believe. I think it's freaked out because this is not completed. Oh no, it's freaked out because I didn't mod it. That's why. So inside of library, we have to mod you. So mod text field. Now I'm gonna get some help in here. Okay, so we're gonna come back to here. I'm gonna just take this text field. We're gonna cut it out and put it directly in here. This should be fine. Yeah, I think this will be good for the video when we do it, which it's starting to look like we'll probably do this tomorrow morning. And sort of like we'll review it, we'll reset it. It'll be all about coming in here, creating it. Maybe we'll do exactly this one thing where we just create like these two form fields for like two different things, and then we'll break them out into components because that will make more sense. So, and then with this could go out here, but I can also see this being a fragment. Okay, what if I do this? I would only cut you out. And so you become a fragment. So then we have label for, okay, so for task name, we're gonna have to turn this into the ID for this. Now the ID needs to be unique. So we could just say, hey, pass me in an ID, or we can just turn that into like whatever this name is gonna be. I don't know, we can basically say, give us an ID. So give us an ID here, and 4 is now going to be the props.id. We have to clone you. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to just. Oh, it took over my keyboard command, so I can't full screen that easily. All right, so we have you. I can temporarily turn you off. All right, so 4 is that our ID is matched here. This is going to be props.id. Clone you. Class form label. What are you upset about? Okay, it is properties. Okay. We have our task names. That's going to be this name here. Then we have our input, type text, class this form control, ID is that, describe by. So in this case, we do need to have this ID be unique across the page. So I'm thinking we'll do a format. So we'll say something like let, I guess like the describe ID is equal to a format. And we're gonna say the ID dash help. See, I remember to do it this time. I get some people are like someday he'll remember to do it every single time, which is unfortunately not that often that I do remember to do that. Describe ID is there for that one. Class is form text, visually hidden, so we can choose to hide that or not. So how would we potentially want to deal with that? So that would be a toggle. So visually hidden is a class that we add in if we really want it to be there. Also, what are you upset about? You need to be cloned. Oh, your props. That's why. Oh, I can't do that. Fine. I tried. You need to be a moved. Oh, I clone you. Not clamp you. I clone you. And then that can moved into here. That'll be fine. Okay, so that's good here. Now, if I want to have this in here or not, we can use the classes macro. So this is form text visually hidden. So the way this would work would be like this. We'd say like class equals classes. Then we have the form text, and then a potential another thing in here, which would be this visually hidden if we actually want that to exist. Can you take an array of them? I think that we can. So I think we can say let no thank you. Goodbye. All right, so for the classes in here, if I do, I do want this to be like maybe a little bit of a, so we could do a vector and sort of push into it. I don't think, I mean, I could potentially, I don't want to put any code in here. That would make it like a little bit more difficult to see. Oh, I can do a function call inside of this. So a private function display like so hide field. Should hide field. I don't like that. So maybe like hide field. It's gonna take in a boolean from whether or not it should hide the field. So we're gonna be description pub hide description is a boolean. So let's do hide field class, and then we'll do like should hide field is going to be a boolean. We can take ownership of that because that will copy just fine, no problem. We're going to return a vector. I wonder if we can do an array. I wonder if I can just do a really simple. Well, it'd be 1 or 2, right? So a vector would probably be better. So it would be a vector of. It'd be a vector of stirs, but I don't. Lifetime wise, that would like not be cool. Let's see. So that's one way of doing it. I could do it another way. So we have classes, this form text. What if I pass it in the class, the vector, and then it just appends to it if it needs to be hidden. So because here. Also, why are you upset? Oh, because I have this let here. That's why. All right, so I'm still trying to think of like what the best way to do this is. So I kind of want to try this out and then see how much better we can make it. So our class is now going to be this form text, visually hidden. If I do a new like hide field class, okay, so it's really just okay form text visually hidden. So if we do this, I now hide field class. So but it'd be classes first. So classes macro, and then we're gonna call the hide field class function. And what if I create a new vector that passes in what we're gonna start with? So before we do that one, we also do our like just the initial classes, which is going to be a vec of string. And so then I can say, okay, give me this vec. And then we're going to start with, what did I call it already? I completely forgot already. It was a form text. Form text. So we just start with that, and then we want to add in to you. This should hide field, and this would be props.hide description. So then in here, we're going to take that this classes. I want you to be mutable. So then we can say if should hide field. I want to push into, so classes dot push the, and we're taking ownership of that vector and then returning it. So then we're just like giving it back. And in this case, it's going to be this visually hidden. These are strings, so we need to do a toOwned or a into. And that's it. Then at the end of here, we return the classes. All right, so then back to you. That goes in, and so now over here we can use you. Use text field. Okay, so all right, so text field. You're gonna need a, just pull all of these into here. So we'll have our name is going to be, I guess like just like the task. The description is, and this is going to be what's described out to the ears. So like, what task are you going to complete? ID. What is the ID? So this can be like task name. Hide the description. Let's say false to begin with. Oh, you need to be like that. Oh, and then I need to close you. So no commas in HTML. Description equals. Okay, you're happy. Back to here. Just to hide it, false. That's great. Now hide it, true. And that disappears. But if I turn on voiceover again, yes, do not use voiceover. What task are you going to complete? So then it properly asks us and tells us what's going to go on here. So that's great. And I think then we'll just do that one more time for here. Actually, I don't know if I need to do that for the lesson. The lesson might just be, okay, and now we have a properly formatted text field. It's inside of here, which means that the text field itself doesn't need to know how wide it's going to be or how much space it's going to take up. It's really just made of these three things that go inside of divs like this. So we have the layout container, which is like this page container. And then we also have this guy here. So that will be fine. So I don't think, yeah, I think that'll be it. Let's see, let's review what we have here. So why add a CSS framework like Bootstrap? Adding Bootstrap to project. Okay, so using Bootstrap to create a new task form. I want this to be create, so new task, or okay, task title. So title, description. Then we probably want to overview of Aria. Then break out title into own components. And I think that'll be it. So I'll mark that down as a practice run. And so tomorrow we can sort of like go through this a little bit, just review it, and then we'll do the recording. I wish I could do the recording right now for it, but unfortunately I won't be able to because we've run out of time. So that'll be that. Everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It's always sort of fun to sort of talk about sort of like design things, HTML, and also like getting in some that's a way to turn off too. Nice. Getting in some like Aria stuff, which is not something that I think is talked about enough. I even forget about it sometimes, which is not great because I'm a proponent for having it work out well. So I'll be back tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Mountain Time. We'll be recording the video for this and then figuring out whatever the next thing is. So with that, have a great rest of your Tuesday, and I'll see you next time. Bye.